name is Kelley McShane, and I am one of the managing partners of the Squibb company.
I'm Nick Carr, and I'm the other managing partner of the Squibb company.
And I'm Anna Malazzi, and I'm the director of operations for the Squibb company.
In the previous interview that we did with Emma, it seemed like you guys were like a really close community. Like, would you think that's like true? Like, have you guys known each other for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, we're married, so we're very close. And Anna, we've actually been friends with for probably 10 years now, and been working together for a year and a half.
We're a small company, and we knew Anna years and years before we started working with her. We didn't know Emma very long before we started working with her, but because we're a small company and everyone is kind of helping out everyone else, it really, you kind of have to be, if not friends, you have to be able to get along with people, because it's it's not like you're in your cubicle with your head down. It's everyone's collaborating all the time, so it's important to be able to get along.
Mm-hmm.
Back in Emma's interview, she talked about how you guys were very heavily involved in the Rhode Island community. Is that something like you guys are really, really passionate about, or something that just happened naturally?
I think we are very passionate about it as a company. That's our part of our mission. We believe in being a part and supporting our community, very much so. But I think that it also was very natural for us. It's before I started working at Squibb, I worked for a social services agency, so that just kind of naturally came in with me. I know Anna, before this, she's very passionate about animal rescue and currently is on the board of the Providence Animal Rescue League. Today is Veterans Day, and we support Operation Stand Down, which helps homeless veterans, and Emma is very involved in the Izzy Foundation, which is to help families who are dealing with a loved one with cancer. So it's just kind of,
It was all us as individuals. It mattered too, so it made a whole lot of sense to bring that into what the company was doing as well.
Do your workers use that, like working for Squibb, as more of like a stepping stone, or do they use it and just like do stay there and they accomplish the goals that they want to achieve?
I think so. When we hired Emma, for instance, we needed help with doing events. We were doing like demos and stuff, and we met her through a situation where she was doing sort of a customer-facing thing, and we're like, oh, she's really good at this. And then very, very quickly, we realized that she's really, really good at a lot of stuff. So pretty quickly, she expressed an interest and a talent with doing our social media, and she kind of took it upon herself to really like get into it and dig into like how is it different for a company to be using this than it would be for just someone on their own Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and stuff. And she kind of like became the subject matter expert. So I hope Emma stays for a long, long time, but it certainly, I think, gave an opportunity to dig into something that she might not have otherwise.
It's like, I feel that because it's a small company, no matter what, anyone that works here is gonna learn a lot and like be better positioned to move on to a different role at some point. But the company also has such a great work culture, and it is a really fun place to work for because it is so small. You can kind of like dig into different things. So it's also not a company, I think, that at least personally, that I want to hang for a while and like learn as much as possible and like be a part of the company. And then it's kind of a mix. I feel like you can learn a lot for your next role, but it's not a company you like want to kind of get in and get out.
So you guys would be like really close. You really enjoy being with each other, and you enjoy the atmosphere that's there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a unique position where my previous job was very like demanding and very like working overtime and then to come to a company where it's like your personal time is respected, and it's like as long as you're doing, proving that you're doing your work, you kind of like have the respect that you're doing your job. And so it's like that's a really great work culture to be a part of.
Yeah, it's interesting because like big companies, that are 100 employees to 500 to even 1,000, those hours really matter because, managers can't have their eyes on everyone at once. But because we're so small and we're in constant communication, I don't need to be watching Anna. I can tell when she's doing her job and when she's not.
So like, what is like a day-to-day, day in your life for each of you working for Granny Squibb? Like, what's your average day? Or does things just differ every single day?
For me, it's pretty different every day, but the basis of what I do is outreach. So I'm talking to customers, I'm talking to potential investors, I'm talking to distributors, I'm talking to comparable brands in the industry to get advice. So I'm literally, the more meetings, the merrier for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're a small brand and we're still growing, and so I don't think there's really a normal day for me. It's everything from, like Kelley said, like taking meetings with, these big distributors, but also dropping off samples at a deli down the street. It's kind of just, it's all over. And especially now, there was a normal day, I think, a while ago where we were all going into the office and, all that kind of thing. But we're all working from home now. We're all figuring out how to navigate the crazy world that we're in. So
I schedule, I think, ebbs and flows because I feel like my role is very project based. So there'll definitely be days where I'm kind of waiting for replies from people, and so it feels like I'm not doing anything. But then there's days where it's we're in the middle of a project and a lot's coming in. So my days similar similar themes, but day to day is very different depending on kind of where we are. And I think for all of us, the spring summer season is very different than the fall winter.
How has COVID-19 impacted your daily lives, and has it been a negative impact, a positive? What have you gotten from COVID?
When they first shut down, so we're in Rhode Island, when they shut down the bars and restaurants right at first, our first instinct was we felt really bad for all of our friends and colleagues in the business, and then almost immediately we realized, oh, those are all of our customers. If they're not open, they're not ordering things, so that this is our problem too. So obviously it's been a crazy roller coaster of a thing business-wise. There have been a couple of silver linings in that it has kind of forced us to really hone in and focus on stuff that before we were just going flat out, didn't really, weren't really able to have that perspective of all right, what do we really need to focus on all the time, and what do we not? And so this has kind of given us the opportunity to do a lot of that, evaluating and get some perspective and just tighten everything up. And then also just the day-to-day, the personal stuff is, we're working from home, and Kelley and I are married, like she said, we live together. So figuring out okay, we're in the office, the living room's the office right now, and okay, now it's not the office anymore, it's the living room again.
I think the main big difference during COVID with our day-to-day is that we're not doing events anymore. So that was a huge part of our business. We really believe in experiential marketing, meaning we go to an event, we create a space, we create, an atmosphere for people, and we meet people, and that's how we really express our brand. Communicating with the customer is very, very important to us. We can't do that anymore. So, last summer, we were doing, each of us had 3-4 events a week that we were doing. And that's, the event itself would be 4 hours, maybe a full day, but even if it's 4 hours, that's 6 hours of prep, setting up, breaking down. So we don't have that anymore, which has given us a lot more time to focus on the business and strategy going forward, which we wouldn't have had if COVID hadn't happened. So that is a silver lining. But at the same time, from a marketing perspective, trying to express who we are as a brand and as people through a photograph or a short blurb on social media is very hard, which is why Emma is absolutely brilliant. And we love having her here because we think she does it really well.
So has it been, it's like been pretty easy or really, really hard, like bouncing back from COVID, do you think?
Short version is really, really hard.
Yeah.
You know, there's certainly, you know, like we look at those silver linings, and that it is important to take notice when, you know, when there are silver linings. But I mean, yeah, we're a product that people buy in restaurants and bars and grocery stores and basically everywhere that's closed right now. So we've been trying to kind of adapt to that, and we're doing, you know, we're everyone's trying to figure it out, and we're right there with them.
We're all entrepreneurs. That's, you know, really hard and risky in itself. To be an entrepreneur, you don't sleep, you think about it, you have to obsess about your idea, and that's how you get it going. But we're also in the beverage industry, which is a very hard industry to be in. There are thousands and thousands of brands that are popping up left and right, and you don't know what kind of capital they have to be able to promote themselves, or the team, or the connection. So already it's really risky. And then you throw in a global pandemic, and it's like, oh my gosh. You really have to be a certain kind of person to enjoy this.
We can have all the most gorgeous promotional materials, and we certainly try to do that. But at the end of the day, you know, you have to have someone taste it and think it tastes good. So it's really, you know, it's a struggle to figure out how to keep that going, in light of the fact that all the places that people normally would be trying something like that just aren't open.
Yeah.
In the past, like before COVID, has it been like a favorite event that you guys did, or like one of your favorite restaurants, like that you've like more than anything? Like, what are your favorites that you guys have done?
I think for me it's Folk Fest, because it was so much planning, and it was our first year doing it, and it was such a big, like, once in a lifetime event to do, the Newport Folk Festival. And so yeah, we planned for months and months and months, and then the actual weekend, like from Thursday, me and Kelley like drove in to set up, and then the event is from like 9 a.m. till midnight, and so we were just basically on the ground for 3 days straight, like just going, and it was super fun. It, like, maybe the days leading up were a little stressful, but like the actual event, like when we were in it, was super fun, and it went perfectly smoothly. Like there was nothing. I kept waiting. I was like, there's something, like something has to go wrong. It's like how this works, like what's it gonna be, and nothing went wrong. So it was a huge success, and it just felt really good to have pulled it off successfully.
I think it was a huge team building experience as well, because we all 4 of us had to work the entire festival, and we also hired extra people to help us throughout the festival. But all 4 of us were on all the time, and I feel like by the end we like had our own little language almost, because we were just like, our communication was so succinct. It was really cool.
It's a thrill for me. So I grew up, and Anna grew up in Rhode Island as well. So it's really exciting to me when I go, like, there's this pizza place in Providence that I would like go to in like middle school, and it's really cool to see, like, to walk in there and like, whoa, Granny Squibb's is here. That's so cool. And then there's a barbecue place that was the first place that didn't carry us, and then I walked in the door and talked to the owner, and then it was like the first sale I made. It's definitely not like our biggest account at all, but I'm like psyched about it, you know.
Of your like drink flavor, like what are your personal favorites, or like what are some ideas of new flavors that you guys have come up with or are thinking of making?
Well, my favorite is Charlie's Cranberry. That's our newest flavor. It's also the first flavor that Nick and I were a part of developing. The other 2 flavors are lemon and mojito lime. And the cranberry is really special because a portion of the proceeds is donated to Save the Bay, which is an organization that helps educate and protect Narragansett Bay. So they're one of our really great partners, and we really are great that we're in a position that we are able to give a portion of our proceeds to them. I'm
kind of boring. I'm just like the classic lemon is my favorite. Can't go wrong with the original.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'll get sick of the lemon, so I'll like have the mojito lime for a bit. I'll have the cranberry, but then I always go back to the lemon. It's real good.
What are your like dreams next? Like, what's the next step for you? What's something that you really want to accomplish in the future?
I know this sounds really ambiguous, but I want to grow it. I want to see us in every single Whole Foods in the United States. I want to see us at universities on like a brochure. I want someone to like have our iced tea. My family's from New Orleans. I want to go down there, and I want to go to the corner market and see it there. Very lofty goals, but I think we can get there, and I think we will.